This is Julia with iCadenza, and I'm here with opera soprano Elizabeth Futral, who has graciously agreed to give us a few minutes of her time. So hello, Elizabeth.
Hi, Julia. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. My first question for you is, you have had an incredible career on so many stages across the world. Do you find that there's anything different when you're performing in a smaller venue from a larger venue in terms of your preparation or how you approach the performance?
Actually, no. Not really any difference. I try to approach every performance with my best, artistic foot forward and my best preparation in hand, and then just kind of deal with the situation as it comes to me and hope for the best. But really, I have to be responsible for my performance. That's all that I can be totally in charge of. So if I'm well prepared, then I'm sort of ready for whatever else happens around me, I think.
Now, you're going to be a part of Salastina Society's inaugural concert next week, which is so exciting. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you became involved?
Yeah, actually, I met Kevin Kumar, one of the founders of the society, through my last involvement with Long Beach Opera. He played on those concerts, and we just, casually got to know each other as fellow musicians and exchanged emails, and eventually he had this idea to include me in these concerts, and just through email and keeping in contact, we made it work out and made the dates work out for both of us and all the musicians, and I'm really happy and excited to be working with them.
And it sounds like the repertoire that you'll be doing is very beautiful and very exciting.
Yeah, we're doing Kevin's idea to do the chanson perpétuelle, which is a beautiful song for string quartet and piano and soprano or mezzo-soprano. You'll sometimes hear sing it. Gorgeous piece. And then these new, Jeremy Cavitera has written 3 new songs for the group, and based on Pablo Neruda poems, and they're really wonderful, really wonderful. I'm so excited to hear all of the players together and to work on those starting on Tuesday, I guess it is, yeah.
Now, having spoken with Maya and Kevin, they really have a really strong vision about this concert series and engaging the public and allowing them to connect to the performers in a kind of in a format that allows them to applaud whenever they like, to really be active if they want to be. What do you think about that idea? And do you think that that's maybe a better approach than a highbrow event?
Situation? Yeah,
right.
I think it's great. I'm not quite sure how one encourages that. I don't know what their plan is as far as sort of inviting the audience to participate that way. Perhaps they will speak to them before the concerts begin and kind of talk about that. Because audiences, they're so interesting when how audiences sort of react en masse, as a unit, given their sort of sense of expectation about the kind of concert it is. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and I think it's a wonderful idea to allow the audience to just be in the moment and responsive, and I think that's great.
Can you actually speak to the difference for you between the concert stage and the opera stage? Do you experience the performance differently?
Sure, absolutely. In the operatic world, for me, there's so much going on besides me. I'm just one of many other people involved in the project. I'm usually costumed and makeup and wigs, and just a little bit, I get lost. Elizabeth Futral gets lost a little bit in those performances, and the character is what comes through, and that's the way it should be. And the sets, take over, and you get the full orchestra in the pit and the chorus and your colleagues, and everything is influencing everything else. And so as far as my individualistic performance, it's very much dependent on all of these other things. In chamber music and solo recital work, it's all about me. When I'm the only singer, I have to be, I have to sort of express myself, and my will is allowed to sort of come forward in a much stronger way than it is allowed to come forward in an operatic situation. So for me, artistically, it's a totally different experience, and it really demands more of me, I'd say, those performances, because and also I'm very much closer to the audience. I don't have makeup and wigs and costumes that I'm hiding behind. And so it's a totally different experience, and a wonderfully fulfilling experience in a different way from opera.
Do you prefer one to the other?
I like them both for different reasons, I think, equally. They really both feed my artistic needs and desires in different ways. So I'd say the solo recital and chamber music kind of experience is maybe more intense for me in a wonderful, positive way. But operatic singing is, sort of exaggerated in a wonderful, intense way too. They're very different experiences. Yeah.
What do you think about when you walk on stage or about to sing an aria or a song? What goes through your mind?
I am usually already engaged in a character by the time I get to an aria in an opera. I mean, arias don't usually just start. There's usually recitative, or I've been on stage for a duet, or something. I've sort of been allowed to sort of live this character a little bit on the stage, and so the aria sort of is a natural outpouring of whatever emotion this character is feeling. And so for me, it's about engaging in that character from the very beginning before I even go out on stage, and then I just sort of live in that character. So the aria is just part of that character. I mean, at least that's my approach. I try not to allow myself to, set myself for an aria. I want it to be part of the whole piece and the whole playing of the character.
And backing up just a little bit before you get to that stage, when you pick up a new score, a new opera, what's your approach to learning a role?
My approach is to take it in stages, and what I try to do when I have the luxury of time is to do some research on the opera itself, read the libretto just on its own without the music, without hearing the music, just to try to immerse myself in the story and in my character and try to figure out who she is. And then gradually I add the music, and I try to do that. I play the piano enough to play operatic accompaniments in my part, of course, but I sort of just play through it and without singing it, and just listening to the harmonic language and the melodic language, and just thinking the text as it goes by without singing, and then gradually, just kind of learning the rhythm, and then adding the melody, and then adding my voice really at the last of all those things, so that I'm not sort of wasting vocal energy along the way, that I really try to do the mental homework before I ever put the voice on it.
Well, it certainly seems to be doing well, based on your incredible performances.
Thank you.
Now, you've had a wonderful career where you've had opportunities to premiere a lot of works. Can you talk a little bit about premiering works and what that experience has been like for you?
Yeah, it's been, I'd say, one of the most gratifying things that I've been able to do was working with living composers. I've done a lot of operas by dead composers, and working with living composers is just such a unique experience, both because I can actually have conversations with these people and talk about what works and what doesn't work for me, both musically and textually, and also just to be able to have conversations with them about what it is they really envisioned this role to be, this opera to be, how they conceived it. I'm doing this piece now at Long Beach by my friend Ricky Gordon, and he and I have been friends for a long time, and just to be able to have ongoing conversations with him about how he came to this musical theme and how it works in the rest of the piece, and what inspired him, and things like that you can't ask Mozart, you can't ask Verdi. You just try to figure that out, but it's really wonderful and very gratifying to be able to actually have conversations with these composers, and then to have their affirmation once you've completed the job. You know, it's really exciting.